So for some reason in my Twitter feed, this interview from 2024, this interview with Dave Justice and Keyshawn Johnson talking about the decline of black baseball players in the major leagues came up. At the exact same time, I was seeing another clip describing the process of how Dominican baseball players are scouted these days. But I thought it was interesting to juxtapose these two together and see what's really happening here. Because I loved to play baseball when I was a kid. I started off in T-ball all the way up until high school, where, of course, things started getting a little rough. You know, and I was also playing football, so I just kind of chose one over the other. But when you look at these major league contracts and you realize how much money is being left on the table, especially when black people were part of the Negro leagues. Like, we had a whole league of our own. And now it's just poof, gone.
We'll come at it from that side. So there's this thing called travel ball that came about. Travel ball, you guys, was billed as like AAU basketball type of thing. But what you don't understand is it costs a lot of money to play travel ball. Mm-hmm. As soon as you start talking about a baseball bat costs $400, you got to have a glove. I don't know what it costs now. You got to have spikes.
Yep.
You got to have baseballs. You got a lot of things you need in order to play baseball. And if you don't have the family, don't have the money, but I just need a basketball, I can go out here and grab that basketball right there, and we can go hoop all day. We get a Nerf football, because I play football too, Keyshawn. Nerf football, we'll play with a little bitty football that you get at Walmart just to play football. Baseball, I think once travel ball came in, and travel ball then here's what happened with travel ball, Keyshawn. It would be all the white kids whose parents, because there's white kids that are left out as well. Because every white kid is not affluent. It's so you got all the white kids whose parents can't afford it. They're playing travel ball. Yeah, and then they'd always go get one brother, Ken Griffey Jr. I'm from Cincinnati, bro. So Ken Griffey Jr.
But Ken Griffey Jr. had his father, who was also a pro Major League Baseball player, as a guide to get him to that level. And also, you know, his resources that come from him being Ken Griffey Sr., you know? Interesting.
He's 3 years younger than me. Barry Larkin is 2 years older. Ken Griffey Jr. played for Midland. I think he was the only brother on the team. They go get the one brother out the neighborhood who can play, and a lot of times they sponsor him. Not Ken Griffey Jr., but they'll sponsor him. But they'll have one. So that's what has happened, Keyshawn, is because it's become so expensive, brothers just go play basketball. And then another thing, too, in high school, all of y'all went to high school. Friday Night Lights football is packed. It's live. Yeah. Basketball. The gyms are packed. Go to a high school baseball game.
Man, I got like my parents.
There's 15 people.
My parents.
14 parents and one girlfriend.
I was about to say, if you had a girlfriend, probably your girlfriend.
One girl. Nobody's at high school baseball games.
Couple scouts.
So it's not sexy. It's not sexy. I mean, playing golf now might be sexier in high school than play.
I did that for a while too. After my dad saw Tiger Woods, he was like, yeah, you know, I got these golf clubs that we need to knock the dust off real quick and get yourself a scholarship. Yeah.
Playing baseball.
Yeah, baseball has become expensive, especially for inner city kids.
So
no question.
And think about it. Some of those inner city kids were, you know, even in like, if you're in an urban area, like they were playing stickball back in the 60s and 50s. And I don't even think kids do that now. So it's a lot has changed in the game, but a lot also remains the same, because just as we had the Negro Leagues, there was reasons for us having a league of our own. You know, the resources that are pumped from the major leagues into finding new talent have been moved elsewhere. And if we're not careful, the same things will happen to the NBA, as they're already doing. You know, they're doing their outreach throughout the world, Europe, Africa. The same thing is going to happen in football. They're going to start recruiting in other places. This is troubling for sure. But like I said, I came across this other video here. This beautiful mother explaining her situation with her son, who is a baseball prospect.
So the way it works in the DR is
in the Dominican Republic, by the way. Now, I'm not quite sure if she's actually Dominican, but it's very possible that she is, and that's how she knows about this process. But instead of keeping her son in America, which I believe she had a choice to, she decides to take him and live in the Dominican Republic.
So the way it works in the DR is you come here and you realize that these kids play baseball year-round, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day almost. Like, as soon as the sun comes up, their kids are on the field playing. And, I mean, it could be anywhere from 10 to 100 kids on the field. They call it the play. And once they're on the field, there's teams. They get divided into teams. It's not really that organized, but each little city has these organizations, and they select kids and they put them on teams.
Notice she said each little city has their organization. That means there's probably some type of financing behind this. Interesting. Why don't our inner cities have that? The closest thing we may have is some of the intramural basketball leagues that we have in the cities. Or maybe, I don't even think they do flag football anymore.
Our second year in, Arden was already being selected to represent the Dominican Republic and go to...
Oh, wow. He's already on the team. He made the team to represent the whole country. Wow.
Colombia to play. So, I mean, it's not hard to get picked up by a team and actually travel with them. And yes, they are traveling teams. They have little cities and stuff. They go on bus trips and they go to different cities to play baseball. But they don't earn rings and they don't pay $3,500 per player. This is like actual baseball. Like, these kids actually want to play. It's in their blood, and they're playing to get better. They're not playing to feed the coach and his family. I mean, it is some money that they have to pay, but it's not enough to like buy a house in the mountains or something. Like, this is just so these kids can eat, they can travel, and a little bit of money to the coach. So after the kid is playing with these little teams, there are other bigger teams, and they're academia, where the kids can go to an actual academy and stay on campus and play baseball and be trained. This time, literally 20.
I knew a couple people that went to academies for basketball, but never any academies for baseball. You know, like, some people would go away and like it would basically be a school where their main job was to play basketball, but they get an education, but they had to live there. There's a couple big ones on the East Coast that I know a lot of kids that I came up with, or a couple kids that I came up with, went to, and they're churning out NBA stars, you know. So it's a progress, you know what I mean? And if you miss steps, then you miss your opportunity to take it to the next level. But it gets even more interesting when she says who else is there while they're at the academy.
24 hours. They train, like, they start at 5 in the morning, and then they eat, and then they go back, and it's like a back and forth, like baseball all day type of thing. It's a bunch of little mini IMGs out here. If you know what IMG is, if you don't know what it is, look it up. But it's a lot of...
Let's look up IMG. IMG Academy Baseball Boarding School. What? So, high school national champions 2023, high school national champions. So this is a corporate baseball boarding school. Wow. They've got college preparatory environment. They got a national team, competes against the nation's top programs, a varsity team, junior national team, a junior varsity, a freshman team, postgraduate team. So you go to school just to play baseball. And this is crazy. How much is the tuition for one of these? Oh, they're not going to give that up? You're not going to give up the price off the bat, huh? Let's see. Choose a sport. Let's see. Baseball. Come on. Academy year student tuition package is a cornerstone of IMG Academy experience, focusing on academic, athletic, and personal development. Represents the greatest value. Boarding package includes private school tuition, sport tuition, as well as standard housing and meal options. Middle school, because believe it or not, these baseball players are starting that early. $92,000. $93,000 is what it is. And then the day school, which I guess you get to come to and go home, is 71, almost 72,000. 94 for high school, 9th grade, 73,900, almost 74. High school, 10th and 12th grade is 96,900. I guess if you're going to go pro, it would be worth it, but otherwise, good Lord, this is you got to pay this all 4 years. From 6th to 12th grade, 6 years, $96,900 post-grad, high school, and college. So that's after the 12th grade if you're trying to still make it, I guess, to the next level. What? This is crazy. Deposits and fees, variable fees. This is insane. $100,000, and this is how they're set up. Wow. That's crazy. Now you want your kid to play in the major leagues. Are you ready to spend that kind of money? Or get a scholarship? Hopefully there's a bunch of scholarships because everybody's playing sports, but I bet you there's a lot of kids that don't get scholarships.
It's a bunch of little mini IMGs out here. If you know what IMG is, if you don't know what it is, look it up. But it's a lot of those out here. It's just like a fraction of the cost.
Wow. So they're cheaper in the Dominican Republic also to go to a baseball academy. Wow.
So the thing is, your son has to get selected into these academies. There are actual tryouts. Arden is at a tryout as we speak. I don't know where he is, but anyway, I'm watching the game. Here's another thing. Parents usually don't even go to the games in the DR. We don't go to the games. We don't go to practice. It's like the boys don't want their parents around. It's totally different. I'm only here because this is a tryout for my son to get into an academy.
Mom, you're cramping my style. If you start playing bad, that's the first thing you're gonna blame. You're like, Ma, come on.
Once he's in the academy and he's training well and the coaches like him, that's when they send him to another tryout with scouts from the MLB. This is when it gets real.
From high school. Now, that was crazy because I did go to high school with one guy who got recruited for a minor league baseball team, but they're in the Dominican Republic out there at these academies recruiting. Have you noticed how many more Dominican players we have now? They're taking trips out there, man.
Real. Because if you get scouted at 16 and 17, they bring you to the actual farm. The farms are here. They're here. They're in the Dominican Republic. If you make it in the farm, you sign a contract as a parent, and the kid actually does get paid on that very first round. It's not a lot, but they get paid. So not only do the kids get paid, parents, kids, whatever, but the coach also receives a percentage, so that's something to know. And usually the coach...
So the coach is getting kickback, so it's their incentive to get their players into the next level to prepare them for the next level. That's crazy.
Is an academy. Unless you have a wonder kid that never went to an academy and is just outstanding, and he's from like some little city in the Dominican Republic. That happens a lot too.
Really?
But here's the thing. Dominicans pump out a lot of pitchers. Like, the pitchers out here are insane.
Right.
They are pitching at speeds from 90 to 100. I'm not even gonna cap. Like,
and that's why in high school, that's why I stopped playing. You see 90 miles an hour coming at you, to 80 miles an hour coming at you. It's like a different game. All of a sudden, the game is much more complex. Yeah, it started getting bad for me. And I was an outfielder out there. Yeah. But, you know, with a little bit of help and maybe an academy, I might have been able to take it to the next level. I might have been able to stay with it, but it wasn't really put there for me. It wasn't a path that I saw forward as a career. But if you're getting it sun up to sundown, baseball is your life, and you start building some different habits.
Like close, I haven't seen 100, but I've seen close to 100. My
almost 100.
daughter's father, he was actually scouted. He was throwing, I think, 95, 96 or something like that when he was scouted. The problem with that is when the kids get scouted at such a young age and they're throwing 90 to 100, they take them to these farms, and most of the time, the stories you'll hear out here is that their arm got thrown out. Yep. So everybody doesn't make it to the minors. Their arms get thrown out. So if your son is a pitcher, I wouldn't even recommend him coming out here, going to a camp and becoming a pitcher.
See, that's good game. She's actually giving up some good game here. If you're going to the DR, don't have your son that's a pitcher throwing his arm out, because they're going to work him to death, is what she's saying. Preserve that strength.
First round, because they're going to work his ass out. And his arm will probably get thrown out. Literally, that's everybody's story out here. Thank God Arden's a shortstop. He's not a pitcher. Please do not put my son in the pitcher's box. Thank you very much. Or a catcher. I mean, catchers, their knees, if you guys know anything about catchers, their knees get kind of messed up. But I would start a catching position like late 15, 16 if I were a parent.
She really knows her stuff, man. 15 or 16, don't even start catching. Man, what about all the kids that started when I was playing back in the day when they were 11 and 12? I guess their knees probably gave out. Wow.
Okay, so that's all I have for you guys. I might tell you a little bit more, but those are my little tidbits and just some information to share with you guys regarding baseball in the Dominican Republic and why I chose to move out here. Not only am I saving money, but being a single parent, being a woman in this industry is also another story in itself. That's another post. This is a man's world. This is a man's sport. So you have to really study up and understand the game and understand the logistics, how things works, the hierarchy, how to talk to the coaches out here. Like women, this is a machismo type of country. You cannot just walk up to any coach and just start talking. You need to know the language or have somebody speak for you. Google Translate has been my best friend. Okay, that's it for now. I'll come back and give you guys some more information later. DM me if you have questions. Ciao.
So there we have it, man. This is the reality of baseball in the modern day. If you want to get scouted, you might have to move to the Dominican Republic, because you're going to have to be playing with the people that are highly recruited out here. I think she also mentioned Venezuela. There's a couple other countries out there, like the MLB is out there scouting for players in these countries. So you have to be there to compete. Plus you'll get a discount on how much it costs. A lot of things to listen to for your future prospects. Because when you think about it, them MLB contracts are the best contracts going out here. I think basketball is a close second and football is pulling up the rear, and especially with football careers being as short as they are, you really want to think about these things when you have your child potentially who has talent going to the next level. So yeah, that's a great piece of advice, especially for bringing more black players into the league. It's been sad, but it's really, there are black players that play in Major League Baseball. Don't get me wrong. But the numbers that we used to have when I was growing up, my favorite player was Eddie Murray, Ken Griffey Jr. I met Ken Griffey Jr. when I moved to California. It's interesting. This is really, really interesting. So let me know what you think about it in the comments. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification for all uploads. This is Fawcett Media.